Right, so we're back at it today. Bit of a curveball happened overnight, and I don't know if you remember or not, but I was talking about when I was jacking that it was pretty stiff, and I was saying it might have settled at some point, and somebody might have regrouted around it or something like that. I might be kind of holding it down. Well, the curveball overnight was I jacked it from the middle last night and got it up, and you saw where I was able to slide the piece of plywood onto the front edge, and it was like just about there. Would have had to go a little bit further. Well, where I jacked it from the middle, I was jacking it from the middle rather than multiple points because I need to be able to slide a sheet of wood halfway under it, basically, like from the midpoint over. I got to do a 4-foot strip from this edge of the flooring 4 feet over and get that in and kind of run that board out as long as I can, so it's all one piece. Like, I really don't want seams around things that have pressure points, because that's where you'll have like cracks or shifts or squeaks or whatever. So the curveball is from being jacked, this side that I was fighting, apparently it was regrouted or something like that at some point, because the pad broke. It cracked in the middle, and the far side came up a little more, and this side went back down some. So that's a huge pain in the butt, because I can't just jack it where I'm trying to shove the board in, because the board has to go under it. So I think what I'm probably going to have to do is I'm going to have to jack it further back, just past the second floor joist, so I can get the board, the subfloor board, at least in there and past the second floor joist and between them, and then just hopefully there'll be enough sliption, if that's a word, sliption. Opposite of friction, sliption. There we go. Just invented a word, I think. If so, it's mine. You can use it if you want. But if I can get it under there, and so it's past that last board, then it doesn't have to like get past anything, then maybe I can just block it on this side and just keep slamming it in and try and send it home, and hopefully I can get that thing all the way across. The bottom of that is cast pretty smooth. It's not like really rough textured and then like it was a cast done somewhere else and dropped on the ground. Like, it's pretty smooth, so it should, in theory, slide across there. So yeah, so we saw yesterday where I was able to set this down and slide it right under. Now it's like just barely getting under the corner of it. So it came down some. And you can see where it cracked in the middle. And that side came up plenty. That side has plenty of room, so I'll just block that in the meantime. But then this side here had shifted down a little bit. Now, I'm really not concerned with that crack at all, because this is not a finished ledge. This had like flagstone on it before, but it was all broken up and it came loose and all that stuff. So this will get reskinned with some sort of tile or whatever all the way around it anyway. So once the subfloor is under it and it's sitting down back on the floor, it'll sit totally flat. You'll never know it's cracked. It'll never move. The thing's like 5 bazillion pounds, I'm sure. Not really, but it's heavy enough where it's never going to move. And then it'll fully get capped. So that'll be totally fine. So I'm going to fumble and bumble with this and see which way I'm going to be able to make it work. And this is one of those cases where you can sit there and watch me struggle. Let's see what happens. Because basically, I gotta make it so this floorboard, the subfloor board, goes all the way to this outside edge, but also goes onto here, and then only goes in here so much, and then notches over and notches out here, and then this is a tongue and groove also, so I gotta make sure it stays on into that tongue and groove, and get it under here. And this is where I was talking about, I want to get it under this board and over this board here also. Yeah, sorry, over this board and over this board to this point, and then at that point I'll have it jacked back here, and then hopefully it'll slide its way in. And I'm thinking I'm going to put a piece of like Tyvek or something like that between there anyway, and that might give me a little extra slip shim to help it slide in place. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I could abandon the whole idea and just go for a block under this and do this whole outer piece separate. I'd like to latch it all in so the floor is all locked in and whatnot, but it might not be possible. Let's see where we land. Sorry for the long start, but just want to paint a picture of what's going on. Well, the fireplace all cleaned out. I was initially just going to clean this off, the shelf off, and then follow through. Just finish it all. It's all going to get cleaned eventually anyway. So dug that all out, and we willing to bet people were like in the house long after it was abandoned, probably having fires in here because there was like all boards with nails in them and just a bunch of random trash. But and there were random things in the house that were newer than when the house was abandoned. So there's definitely some people hanging out. So it's got a metal liner in here. You can tell, yeah, actually you can see it's got a metal liner. It's all warped from how much heat somebody had in here at some point. But overall, it's pretty okay. I'd say it's pretty usable in my book. And it still had the firewood holder things. So I'll slide those back in there for now. And yeah, let me get back to it. Let me figure out what my next step is here with this floor going under this thing. Wish me luck. Alright, so let's see how this is going to work. Basically, I got it propped over there on that side, lowered the jack, moved the jack over here where I said I was going to do it just after that second board, and I dug out a bunch of that wood that was in there, and now we can slide right under there clear, so that'll be good. And the back end's still a little low, so I am going to have to do that cut I was talking. So I'll do a cut on this just right at the edge here, back a little ways, so that'll kind of tilt down, let this rest flat and even tension on everything, and that'll be fine, because once this is all in here, I'll wedge some shims between these bricks here and the bottom of the subfloor, push that all up nice and tight, cut them off flush, and that'll pin that in there nice. That'll be nice. All right, and that's good, because I think with that much moved, I think I can get a full sheet in there and be able to wrestle it. We'll find out. Right, so it's sliding under there very successfully. I was able to get it jacked, get it fit in, and then wedge it. I had like 4 inches on the corner to wedge it really good off the rafter. So that's pushing the rafter down a little and holding up the mantle a little bit. No, not mantle. I keep saying mantle. Who knows? But anyway, that thing, that big old concrete block. So I got it slid most of the way, about an inch away from where it has to go all the way in. One of the things that you typically do, and I like doing, is construction adhesive. And this is the great stuff, Pro Gun stuff. If you never use this thing is phenomenal. And this glue is serious business. Way better than the old caulking type, where you're squeezing the caulking and just killing your hands and running out, taking forever. This thing's awesome. Anyway, enough about this. But you typically want to put it on the top of the floor joist and then drop it in. You probably saw me do it in the other videos, putting down these other ones. Well, you can't, if you put it on there and you drop it in and you slide it over, you're just going to squeeze it all off. So I got it slid sideways where it's pretty much an inch from where it has to go. So I'm going to go underneath and basically like kind of say this is what it is, and this board is going to be slid that way. I'm just going to come in this area and bury this corner with it, and then when I go up top and slide this piece of plywood over, which is obviously not this one, it's the one on the floor, it should carry and suck some of that on, because it sticks like so fast. It should carry enough to carry it over. Some people don't even use it. It just helps with squeaks and stuff like that. But I'm going to do that underneath there, and then I'll come up and jam it over and nail the hell out of it. And it should be good enough. And yeah, it'll be fun. Let me go underneath and do that. Down here gluing up the floor from underneath, and saw something black and shiny on the floor. Big salamander down here. Look at this guy. Pretty good size. Like, I have big hands. It's the size of my finger to this guy. What's up, little dude? I think he's petrified. Still got animals in the house. Oh well. Right, so the pain in the butt piece is all in, 100%, came in pretty good. And then 2 more pieces down. One I had to rip down 3/4 of an inch. Just like I said before, the framing, we had to match up to the old framing over here for it to line up right, and it wasn't perfectly spaced. So ripped one down 3/4 of an inch, which isn't bad, but it's a pain in the butt just making like a nice straight cut on 8-foot end. So got that done, that's all in, and I think I'm gonna stop for a sandwich because it's like 3 o'clock and I'm hungry. And I'm gonna work on, I think, getting 1 more piece under the hearth over there, or whatever it's called. I keep calling it a hearth. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's the hearth, I think. Mantle, hearth, something like that. But anyway, so I think I'm gonna start doing that, and I think I can squeeze 1 more run in right there where all these boards are. So if so, then this whole area will kind of be resolved. Now I'm going to have to jack up on the bottom of this first piece of plywood I put in and like push that block, that concrete up with that piece of plywood to be able to get the far side to lift over there where I have it blocked, to be able to get the blocking out to slide in the next piece. So shouldn't be a big deal. Should work out as planned, maybe. But I'm gonna have a sandwich and get back after it. And that is where we quit for tonight. The sun's going down, and a fully walkable living room floor. So this half sheet and this sheet, they just set in place with one screw each because I want to keep staggering them. So this will be a full sheet, so that'll get a full sheet, and then a full sheet, so all the seams overlap each other, like this one here in the middle. They're staggered 4 feet, 4 feet. So these two will get swapped out once I get further along here. But everything else is all down, rock solid. And everything's all under there, all the way around. I just gotta go down the basement tomorrow, take the jack out, and I had hammered some shims in right here and there. I gotta fight those out of there. Probably just a matter of putting a pinch bar under there, leveraging it and ripping them out. And yeah, and then tomorrow I can get that bottom board in that wall now that the floor's all here, and start out that corner and start replacing the sheathing. Yeah, so as long as there's no surprises with rain or weather that's going to stop me from doing the outside sheathing, I should be able to wrap up that whole corner today. And then at that point I just got some ceiling joists here to address afterwards. I might even have the material here to do it. We'll see where we land, because I still got a lot more work to do. But now I got a workstation. Speaking of workstation, I gotta put all my tools away now. But yeah, fun stuff. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys had a productive day also. This was satisfying, because that mantle, that hearth, I think it's a hearth, correct me. Is it a hearth? All the boards under there being resolved. that's a big weight lifted. So that's good. So I'm satisfied. You guys have a good night. Right. So, as you saw yesterday, we have pretty much all the floor in here. That's huge. Let's see if we can get this wall squared away today. If I can get this wall wrapped up, that would be another huge milestone of just that's been undone for so long. I want to get that resolved. And drag the tools back in, and basically it seems simple enough. I just got to put a board across the bottom, knock that outer board off, sheath it down there, stud this corner wall, and sheath it over here, and basically tie this all in. And I got to do a repair on the board up top here. Reasonably simple. Yeah, reasonably simple, but these studs, this part of the foundation was crooked, so these studs ain't perfectly level. It was built on a crooked foundation to begin with, so I'm gonna have to just shim between that bottom board and these studs. Not to the end of the world, but just a little mild time sucks. So should be totally doable. We'll get it done, and hopefully, at the end of the day, this whole corner will be resolved. It won't have the new window in it. I'm gonna wait till all the structure's done, so we're not moving boards around, smashing stuff. And this particular window is perfect for me to pull up, back up right outside of it. And this room is 30 feet long. That's the living room. It's 30 feet long, so that's perfect for me to open that window and slide all the lumber right in there. And that's gonna be where I'm gonna be doing all my cutting for the whole rest of the house. Yeah, all the other problems. So yeah, let's get some more work done. Yesterday was a little satisfying. Let's keep that momentum going. Oh, frame is all squared away. A little overhangs are cut back. Pieces grafted in up there. I still have to put a small sister along that roof joist. Basically, it's just a shim at this point because that's a new roof joist right there. So we cut the old one back to there because it was rotted down here somewhere. So I still got to cut one of those, but I'm going to start with the sheathing. I want to get this bottom piece of sheathing on, and maybe the first side piece, and just as like a little bit of a victory, and then I'll jump into that. Right, so milestone. You know, you just put all the floor down. finally have level, flat, safe surface to put up sawhorses and not be cutting the plywood, leaning against the wall, propped up on 2x4s on the floor. That might not seem like much, but the ability to comfortably use sawhorses, oh, game changer. I feel like I just stepped up a notch. I'll take that as a win. Very satisfying. Alright, so never cut a roof rafter before, and there's a lot of measurements in it. And this wasn't the piece I was making for it. This was a test piece, just so I could get a ballpark, and then I could take measurements off of it and be like, alright, I gotta extend it a 1/2 inch on the top, 1/4 inch on the bottom, whatever, just like a rough, fit it in there and see what happens. And these are all the measurements I took. So that's my rough measurement. 9 3/4 from the peak to here. That is 2 3/8 up and in. That's 5 1/2. And then from here to here was 26 inches. And then from here to here was 42 inches. All I had to go off of was, my brother has a roof rafter in there that he was using for a template that just had this one angle in it. So I was able to get that angle and then worked off all the measurements I had here. And look at this thing sitting there. It looks like the board's up, but the end of the board's curling because it's not nailed down and it was overhanging. But it's right in line with the rest of them, nice and straight. And then even the rough cut up there to that old board is pretty acceptable and flush along there. And got a little bit of a tiny bit of a gap here, but that's better than the gap on the one behind it. I'll take that as a win. And again, not saying I'm good. I think it's just a little luck following me around lately. We'll take that as a win. One more victory. That's a good piece down there. And well, and everything's squared up inside. The boards are in, the corners are in, that upper piece is tied in. So call that a win. Got that done. Like I said, not a huge job to a carpenter that does this all the time, but for me that's overly picky and I'm not a carpenter, these things take time. And again, thrilled to be able to use my little sawhorses. Like my knees, my back, everything's going to be happy about those guys. But I'm going to wrap it up, put tools away, and take a shower. Because it's humid today. It wasn't very hot this morning, but it got humid. Hope you guys had a good day. Thanks for watching.